everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today on Teens Talk Television. Our topic today is all things social. So we'll be talking about what social life looks like on each and everyone's campus. So we're going to start off by just introducing ourselves, and we're going to start with Ariel, then we'll go kind of with Delaney, we'll keep going, and then we'll end with Justin.
All right, hey everyone, my name is Ariel and I'm going to Morgan State University. I'm a sophomore bio major.
Hello everyone, I'm Delaney Haggins and I am a rising senior at Montclair State University in Montclair, New Jersey. And I am a business administration major for concentration in marketing.
Hello everyone, my name is Damaris Moore. I'm a rising sophomore major. Wow. I'm a rising sophomore advertising major at Howard University from Waldorf, Maryland.
What's up, everyone? I'm Justin. I'm a rising sophomore at VCU, and I am a communication arts and graphic design major.
Thank you guys so much and welcome back to another episode. So we're just going to get into all things social. Obviously, college is for academia and to get a degree, but it's not college if it's not fun, if it's not social. So we're going to get into the nitty gritty of what social life looks like. So I'm going to start off by asking, what does your social life look like on campus? So anybody who wants to join in can just talk a little bit about what orgs they're in and why they decided to choose that, or just regular old friends and roommates and things like that. Actually, we'll start with Delaney.
Sure. For me, my campus is a relatively medium-sized campus. I would say the largest institution within my area is Rutgers University, and we're like the second largest. But I would say as far as the social life on my campus, it's still pretty open to a social life. We have a lot of clubs and organizations on campus. I'm a part of D9, which I'm a part of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, which that keeps me pretty busy with, as the vice president of my organization, I am in charge of programming. So I'm in charge of making sure a lot of the programs operating on campus. I'm also a part of Ladies First on campus, which is like an empowering group for not only for Black women on campus, but for all women on campus to feel like, they can have a safe space to share what may be on their mind, or almost like a table talk, which is really nice. And we have Black Student Union. We have a lot of different clubs, organizations on campus. But yeah, overall, that's my social life on campus.
I joined the Howard University Elite Models on campus. It's the one of the modeling organizations on campus. I joined as a makeup artist, and I knew that I was very interested in growing my network in terms of creatives. I started doing makeup about 2 years ago, so I knew that I wanted to get connected in that kind of way. But joining the organization helped me a lot and broaden my scope of I guess what's possible, but what I believe that I could do and be capable of, because I started off doing like a lot of soft glam, and then I got more into editorial and understanding like the science and actual like technical stuff about makeup. And I just grew as a makeup artist. So I would say one of the things that helped me grow a lot was by in terms of socially, was introducing myself and getting to know other creative people. And so through that, I've helped other people have helped me. It's been like a mutually very like beneficial experience. And going into my second year in August, I'm very excited to continue that and do a whole bunch of more shoots, and I'll be joining more organizations. I'm really interested in mentoring, as well as, organizations with sisterhood and, just uplifting other women, especially Black women and things like that, and getting more involved on campus.
Okay, so currently I'm not enrolled in any like clubs or organizations on campus, but I am a minor. I do have a minor in entrepreneurship, and I have like my own little dessert slash treat business called Top Tier Sweet. So like once or twice a week, I would sell like different stuff, like different types of banana puddings, all that type of stuff. So I would say Morgan is definitely a school where it kind of pushes you to be like outside of your comfort zone, which is not always a bad thing. Selling stuff on campus, talking to people that I've never talked to in life before is definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone, but I loved every part of it. I would say I'm trying to get more acclimated with all the organizations on school because it's definitely a lot to choose from. I would say my first year, I kind of focused just mainly on the academics and trying to get that taken care of first. But this year, I hope to be involved a little more, especially Greek life. I'm here for it.
For the most part, I also wasn't involved in too many clubs. I think the only thing I was really a part of was DMC, which is Development of Color, which is really fun. And we host a lot of like mixer events, have different alumni come in from different places and different universities, and you kind of get your own mentor based on like what major you're in or what field you want to go into. But another way that like I really kind of experienced branching out socially was I would join like tournaments for like gaming. No matter what game it was, like that's a big part of my life. And so I would join different tournaments. I meet so many people at these tournaments that are just held on VCU campus. And then I even joined the board team to kind of like work with setting them up. And because I'm an art major, I would help like design some of those things. And so people are like, oh my God, who did that? Who did this? And so then I started like running like a little bit of like a design business on campus. And just that's another way I met people through that.
That's really cool. I like how y'all have like your own little side businesses and hustles because we all know how expensive college can get. And then when you do something that you love, it's not really a burden. It's just, having fun, making more money. So really shout out to y'all. But let's talk about COVID. How do you think that COVID has impacted your social experience? Did you find that you found yourself more connected to people during the pandemic and during quarantine, or as like maybe if you're an introvert, did you have a bit of a harder time going through all of that? And so we'll start with Justin with that one.
I definitely say because of COVID, some people really just don't want to talk anymore. At all, even because they're so used to not talking or being able to avoid people because they always have a mask up. And I don't know if this is at other universities, but something that was specific to mine is if you lived off campus, even if you were a student or even if you were a freshman, you couldn't enter any of the dorms. So there's a whole bunch of people that I met outside of like my dorm that may have been upperclassmen that they wouldn't have been able to kind of like come and like hang out and interact with me if I was just chilling at like my dorm or anything. And that cut off a lot of people that I might have ran into or interacted with, because that's how I made most of my friends, was just me living on campus.
For me, I don't think well, obviously last year was my first year, so I don't really have an experience to compare it to in terms of how COVID has affected college life before and after. But in my experience, I don't think it has. Me personally, I'm an in-person person. Like, I'm not gonna sit on the phone and call you all day and text you all day, especially when I know all of my friends or people that I need to talk to are on campus. So I'll probably shoot you a text or call you, be like, hey, are you in your room? Okay, I'm gonna come through, like whatever. And normally in my interactions, that's how it's been with like most people, like, just get up and get out, especially when it's warmer. So like spring and in the fall as well, spring, fall, and like, the beginning of summer before we leave. People are just getting out, just, okay, you need to talk, we need to talk, okay, let's go to the bookstore, let's go get something to eat, let's take a walk. In my experience, people are more prone to getting out and talking to each other face to face and meeting with each other. We did have a period of time at Howard where it was like COVID cases had increased. So at that point, people were trying to like stay more inside in order to, not get that, because it's such a pain. I actually, I caught COVID the last week of the last week of school, like May. And which was so annoying because everybody was trying to, get out and, see people before they leave. And I had to be inside. Well, I actually ended up just staying at home because I live in Maryland. So that was annoying. But yeah.
I would say for me, wow, looking back, COVID hit what, 2 years ago, spring 19. I know like when it first hit us, back when, a little while back, it was like a huge shock going from that fall semester of like my freshman year of college, having like everything completely open on campus to like doing a whole 360, having everything shut down and asked to go home. And if anything, I would say the big adjustment was the online learning. I mean, I know for a lot of people, for me, I felt like it benefited me. Hybrid learning. I love hybrid learning. I feel like just being able to be online as well as like in person, but having it be completely like online for a good year, that took a little of adjustment. Being completely on Zoom, which had lots of technical difficulties with a lot of delays and, professors trying to catch up to the new norm. And that kind of, created a little annoyance a little bit. But other than that, I would say as far as like how the pandemic kind of shifted, it definitely shifted my college experience in a different direction, as well as like even in school, once we started coming back to like in person, like how there were protocols, like with like how classes were, how we had to like social distance and we really had to wear masks on all the time, which we still do, but there are some, limits to that now where we can actually like remove masks, which is nice. So now we can actually put a face to the name. But I would say COVID definitely took a toll on my college experience within these last 2 years.
So I would say for me personally, since I did just like finish my first year of school, COVID wasn't, I want to say, a big factor because I felt like at Morgan, people ain't care about it for real. Like, yes, we was wearing our masks. Yes, we was trying to social distance. But when it comes to stuff like homecoming, nobody care about that. But I would say I do believe a lot of people use COVID as like a crutch, like when it came to like online learning, like, oh, the teacher said we can just hop on Zoom. I'm hopping on Zoom. I don't got to go in person. So, but I would say for me, I did use it as a crutch as well, trying to stay in my room more. But then after a while, I kind of realized it's way more fun being outside, talking to people, being in person. I loved all of it. So I'm saying I'm kind of glad we are past that point, and hopefully we can continue to progress with not being in per se COVID, but yeah.
No, I definitely understand where you're coming from. So with these little things that you guys do on campus, whether it's gaming or makeup or, baking or sorority, whatever it is that you guys do, how has it impacted you and how have you grown personally, like from these experiences? Did you learn a lot about yourself or figure out things that you did like or didn't like? I know for me, doing student ambassadors on Howard's campus was perfect for me because I can always talk everybody's ears off anyway. So it was really nice for me to find a little org that's what I do all day. So does anybody have any experiences that think have changed them for the better, just socially?
An experience that I think changed me for the better socially. So my fall semester, I was a marketing student under the School of Business. And then spring semester, I switched to School of Communications. I'm not sure how exactly it works on other campuses, but SOB is like for real, like, you wear suits and the way that they have it set up is wonderful. The 21 CAP program, I'm sure other schools have it, but anyways, if you don't know, basically companies pair with teams. Each student is placed in a team. And so each student basically gets the opportunity to work with a liaison that directly works with the company or corporation or whatever. So, in hopes of by the end of the school year, you end up with an internship or some kind of relationship there to where you can, receive an opportunity from that. So being in that space, we have our Howard intros and we have the people that come and speak to us from companies. I know me personally, I was super interested in Mac and working with the Mac people and just anybody in the beauty industry. But there were also a lot of women speakers, women entrepreneurs that came. And so, they would come and speak, give a presentation. they might have a Q&A section. And so that's a period where you have to you might be a little bit nervous. You have to say your question or whatever in front of everybody, as well as introduce yourself. And so it's kind of a little bit nerve-wracking, but I learned to completely get over it, because it's like, being in that kind of environment, just at Howard period, there's so many opportunities there. You just have to be willing to take the chance and the opportunity just to speak up. And, it can be a connection with anything. So I would say definitely being a part of the School of Business my fall semester. And then also there was a yard talk that they had during the spring semester. During Spring Fest, there was a yard talk. And Yandy came, and one of the things that she said was about how she got her start in the entertainment industry, and how she just asked this lady that she was really inspired by if she could just clean her office. And so basically her point with that was that, you don't always have to reach out to these big people that you look up to and try to, you know what I'm saying? Oh, can I be your intern? Can I do this? Can I do that? People are busy, you know what I'm saying? So just look for any way you can kind of get your foot in the door and stuff like that. But just be genuine and willing to work from the floor and work your way to the top. So that was an experience that I really took with me always.
I would say for me, as far as my sorority, I mean, definitely opened up my eyes to a lot. It definitely keeps me busy. I am enjoying my experience, but holding two positions, I'm vice president as well as the treasurer of my organization. It definitely keeps me on my toes for sure. Just trying to make sure everything can keep the wheels rolling, and making sure everything can stay, operating. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I love the sisterhood, and if anything, it definitely keeps me busy, as well as being a cheerleader. I would say that adjustment from high school cheer, I was on varsity all 4 years of high school, and then converting over to collegiate cheer, that was a huge adjustment, which trying to be on a collegiate level and trying to adjust to that. So yeah.
So for me, I would say it would probably be choosing entrepreneurship as my minor. When I had first came to Morgan, like the teachers and like the deans and everything, they had encouraged me like just to stick to solely like to bio, become a minor in chemistry. But I'm like, I always had that entrepreneurship behind me. So when I got there and I first started selling on campus, like I knew my product was good, but I was always that shy person that was like scared to say, hey, would you be interested in this? Because I'm like, I don't know what your response is going to be, but I was always told the worst they can say is no. And then that's just an opportunity for somebody else to say yes. So after a while, like people just kept supporting me, and I was just like really astonished. And I'm like, you know what, be a double minor, like I did it, and I would say that was probably the biggest experience for me, is just choosing entrepreneurship as my second minor.
For me, easily the biggest experience, it's not necessarily rooted in academics, but more so on the going out and like social side of it, that really kind of helped me like branch out, because I already like talking to people and meeting new people. It's one of my favorite things to do. So venturing around just my dorm, like literally step out, go up and down the elevator, up and down the stairs, down the hallways, meeting people, going to the lounges, like it was a lot of fun, because you have no idea what type of people you're going to run into. And I got to learn a lot about other kind of people who came from like different backgrounds and from different places, and it really kind of broadened my knowledge on like the world and how different people operate. And that's something that I can include in like my marketing skills in a way, because now I have background knowledge on this person, on that person. So if I see something similar, I can relate and then make kind of like a sale or a deal off of that, and network with a bunch of other people as well. So that's probably the best social experience. It's probably going to help me out a lot in the future.
Can I add on to Justin?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so he made up a good point. I think overall too, like just being away from home, like being around a totally new environment. I think for the most part, we're all pretty much out of state students, well, except for Howard and Morgan in state. But for the most part, it's, like having a new experience, being amongst like all different kinds of people from all over, different nationalities. Like it's just really cool to like all come together and like share new experiences compared to like what we're already used to. So I think that's really cool.
I definitely agree. And that kind of leads into my next question is, do you guys think that you guys would have a different social experience if you chose a different school? So for example, I was on my way to Hampton, no diss, no whatever, but that wasn't my vibe. That wasn't my vibe. So I think that I would have had to do like, Howard's just more me. It's more outgoing. It's more out there. It's more rah rah. Like there's just more to do. So I definitely think that if I were to go to Hampton, I just would have had to work like 10 times harder to like have the social life and experience that I was seeking in college. So what schools were you guys going to go to? Would you guys have done anything differently, or what do you think the differences might have been? Who wants to start?
I can start. So I have the same kind of background. Hampton offered me less money than Howard, but it was like 1 and 2. Like Howard offered me the most money, Hampton, and then it doesn't matter. But it was another school after that. Anyways, I actually have family history at Hampton. So like great relatives and stuff like that. My god sister went to Hampton, whatever. Always knew I was going to go to Howard though. But there was something that had happened, and then I started looking at Hampton, whatever. But like I said, it just wasn't the vibes. At one point, NCAT was up there. I was like, ooh, like I'm really feeling A&T, whatever, but it's just too large. I think that my mother always emphasized the importance of like really taking personal self-inventory and like, okay, what am I looking for, like emotionally, out of this school? How can I best thrive besides academically? And I think Howard, always knew Howard would be the place for that, because I'm a Leo, so I kind of have that that little ego on me or whatever. I always felt like I'm the best, like that was it. Always I'm just being honest. But so yeah, I feel like, and like Kanye West, this is really like left field, but stay with me. I really like Kanye West. His personality and his approach to stuff is like, he is the best. You know what I'm saying? And what helped him, I feel like, was, he got his breakout kind of a big break was his record with Jay-Z that he produced. Jay-Z is a heavy hitter. You feel what I'm saying? You got to be around other heavy hitters for you to succeed, which was my thought process. So I feel like at Howard, I've definitely gotten that, and it personally was just the best fit for me. Like you said, it gives you the chance to be outgoing. I'm a super outgoing person. But not just outgoing, but you can be like productively outgoing, make connections, even on the surface level, with people who will be willing to help you in whatever it is that you want to pursue. So I've truly made the best decision, and I'm not leaving until I'm done.
If I could do it all over again, I definitely would have wanted to go to either Howard University or Spelman College. My mom went to Spelman. I always grew up going to the AUC. I just think, for me, I always grew up in a diverse environment. So believe it or not, I actually didn't apply to any HBCUs. Again, I have nothing against HBCUs. My mom is a proud Spelmanite, but I just think, like, for me, I just wanted to be amongst like all different kinds of people. That's just what I would have loved to be a part of. So attending a PWI, that was like kind of like my goal. And I actually wanted to go to Old Dominion University near Hampton. That was like my top school. I felt like I had a lot that they were looking for, but things kind of shift, and things may not go as planned. But I definitely love Howard University. They definitely always have a lot going on there. And Spelman is, like I said, that Clark, Atlanta, Morehouse, and Spelman, it's a vibe. It's definitely a vibe. I always love the atmosphere when I was little, just going to all like the homecomings and stuff. So yeah, if I could do it all over again, I would definitely want to go to an HBCU.
I've definitely thought about, like, if I'd had the option, if I changed my major, would I go to HBCU? And I probably would have ended up at some, like, I'd probably say either NCAT, FAMU, or Howard, because that's my mom's alma mater. So I definitely wanted to go to Howard and experience kind of like what she showed me growing up, because I was always taking trips to DC, being on the yard, watching the Qs go out there going crazy, watching the Kappas go Noops all day. So that's something I would definitely have loved to experience that I don't really get at VCU. Thankfully, I am close to two HBCUs, that being Virginia State University and Virginia Union. So I go over there to hang out a little bit, but it just becomes really hard because my major is a very niche major and not a lot of HBCUs offer it. But if I had to do it over again, I'd definitely say that my experience at a HBCU would be something that I would look forward to and push way more.
All right, so for me, it was between Morgan and Towson. And when it came down to it, I remember I visited Stevenson, and then that's when I just knew I couldn't do a PWI. No offense, but I just knew I couldn't. It just felt boring. It gave retirement community. But I, I'll be honest, those people, they know how to party, though. I do give it to them. They know how to party. But for me, I just knew I wanted that. I don't know, that grit, that family oriented vibe from like a HBCU. And then Morgan, when it came to the academics, they had gave me a really good offer that I just felt like I couldn't refuse. So I had won with that one. Going to a PW, I felt like it would have been a lot harder for me to come out of my shell, and it would have taken a lot longer to get to the point where I'm at today. Looking back, I think I'm good with my decision. But if I had to, I mean, I love me a good Clark Atlanta, a Howard too. But yeah, I would stick with HBCU.
I went to one Morgan party and it was way later than I ever thought it was going to be. So y'all definitely have a good time at Morgan. But how do we balance social life? Like for me, I think the biggest thing that I have to tell myself is that it's okay to like say no and then say like, oh, like my plate is full, I can't do that. So how do you guys kind of like balance even like relationships or friendships or roommates and do all of that while still being a good student? Because it's always 4.0 season all the time. So how do y'all balance it and keep yourselves in check? Because I don't know about y'all, but my mom will be quick to remind me what I'm in college for. So does anyone have any tips?
Keeping a group of friends that hold each other accountable. That's really what it is, because you really have to have at least, now I am in a huge friend group. My friend group is 14 people. And we really, like, each of us, we have our own individual relationship with each other, and we all hang out, like, literally, it's crazy. If you see us in public, it's like, why do they go everywhere as a mob? And we do, but we're really good friends with each other. We all know each other's goals. Even when we talking about, oh, okay, we're going to the party, okay, did you do your homework? Like, are you good? Like, are you straight? We don't have none of those problems because we all make sure we remind each other what we're actually there for. So it's definitely keeping a group of people around you who are going to hold you accountable, and then you do the same for them.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's definitely about who you have in your close circle. And for me, it's definitely like everyone in my close circle knows how to keep that balance of like, all right, let's go hang out, but also like, hey, we need to sit here, we need to study for this. And if some of us have classes, we'll literally group up, go to class together, come back, have a study session. We make sure like, okay, did you do this? Did you do that? Like the people who are around you will kind of make you who you are. Because if you want to go around with people that just play hooky all day, well, you're going to end up going around playing hooky with them. If we're people that study all the time, then you're going to be kind of like that. So finding that balance so that you can have a good, like, kind of a better experience, because you don't want to just be in the books all day, to be fair. If that's for you, cool. But you got to be able to have some of those life experiences, because you only get this experience one time. So if you're just going to sit there in the books, but don't always be at parties, getting messed up, getting crunk, whatever the case may be.
I believe in time management. And if anything, what I mean by that is working ahead of schedule. So if I know I have a big week ahead of me with a whole bunch of plans from Friday through Sunday, I am going to work way in advance just to make sure, that way I'm not getting too crammed up with what I have to do. And personally, I love self-rewarding myself. I love to have a good time. I feel like we all deserve to have a good time. And again, like how Justin mentioned, you only live, once. So you want to be able to feel like, you can have a good time with no regrets. So definitely time management, working ahead of schedule, making sure that way you're not falling behind, and self-rewarding yourself. That's very important for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of what Delaney said. For me, is time management is very important, but also just being realistic with yourself, letting yourself know, like, okay, yes, I have 3 papers due by the end of this week, but at the same time, am I gonna feel like wait until Thursday to start them papers? No. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do it in advance. And then also for me, I would say have some friends that aren't like you. Like have some friends that party a lot. I had a friend named Jason. He go to Towson University. And he always be like, Ariel, you're in your books a little too hard. I'm gonna need you to step out. Just give me like a little night. Give me like a 2 hours. Come on, let's be outside for a little minute. So I would say friends like that I always appreciate, but also the ones that are going to keep you on track as well.
To piggyback off of what Ariel said, that's so true. So true. Because another thing with that is I know I struggle with procrastination sometimes and time management, but I'm kind of delusional and like I kind of like anyways, like I'll like be like, okay, like yeah, I wrote this paper. Like I didn't write the paper, but I'm trying to trick myself into manifesting me writing the paper by saying I already wrote the paper. But like somebody else who's like that, like they say something like that, and I'm thinking we both on track, but we're both lying to ourselves. It's not going to work. So you have to definitely step out and become friends with or build a relationship with somebody else who's going to, like you said, who's not like you. Because then you're gonna see how like all together they appear, and you're gonna be like, dang, I need to be like that. You ask them for help. Hey, like, how do you do X, Y, and Z? Oh, okay, let me help you. Boom. Now you're lit and you're a millionaire. Oh my God.
I definitely felt that. I have friends who are more like, if I go out with my friend Summer, we're going to the club. If I hang out with my friend Cameron, it's giving wine night, movie night. If I go with Alexa, it's giving museum or like night out on the town. So there definitely is the value in a little bit of a variety in your friends. But I think that similar goals is something that's really important. And then I think that, you know, as Black kids, we just got to stay focused. So, you know, you can only dilly dally, but so much, because my parents said you got 4 years and that's it. So definitely keep the head in the books. But what advice would you guys give your younger selves, or like if you could start college all over again, what would you do? I know we have some sophomores, so hopefully y'all don't even have any regrets because y'all just got started. But for me, I think one thing I really struggled with is when I got to Howard, I was like, everybody is so pretty. Now I'm pretty too. That's not the problem. It just really threw me in for a loop. It really confused me. It was a lot to take in. So I think that I just would have had more self-confidence and believed in myself a little bit more instead of like building up to it. I mean, progression's good. You don't need to be cocky, but I think that's something that definitely like threw me in for a loop and imposter syndrome. So what were you all's experiences?
Mine would easily just be telling myself to stop procrastinating, stop waiting till the last minute, especially with some of the art studio projects I had to do. There's no way, even if you, let's say you have 3 weeks and you only get started on that second week, it still might kick you in the tail a little bit later. So procrastination is easy. Other than that, I don't have too many regrets as my sophomore year, thankfully.
Similar to what Madison said is definitely I think about how many amazing people go to our school, and I'm like, there's so many beautiful people, so many successful people, so many budding people that go to our school. Just always remember to include yourself in those numbers. Don't, you know what I'm saying, section yourself out like, okay, and separate yourself like, oh, these people are great, and I go to school with great people. No, you are a great person going to a great school. So include yourself in the numbers is what I would tell myself as well.
Okay, so for me, I would say definitely the imposter syndrome a little bit for me as well. Going there, I was always be like, oh my gosh, they already got their set group of friends, them over there. But what I had to realize, people put their best versions of themselves out there. You don't always see what's going on behind it. You don't know what difficulties or things they may be suffering from. So it's like you may be able to connect with them on that level. So I would just say not being scared to putting yourself out there, being vulnerable with people, stuff like that, for me.
I would say, if I can look back, I would just say, yeah, I would say not procrastinating. Sometimes I tend to get too busy and forget, what I've may need to really accomplish at that certain particular time, but that's okay. You get back on your feet and you pursue. But another thing I would say, applauding myself a lot more. Like, I feel like over the years, especially what we all have been through with COVID and everything, it's been a little setback, but just being able to really like say, wow, like, you know, I'm about to graduate. That's a major accomplishment. You know, not many people like can say they graduated from a 4-year institution, especially like for us, like what we have gone through with the whole pandemic, in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, it's quite challenging. So I would say like just really like patting myself on the back and saying, you know, you did it. Continue up the great work. This is not even the end. This is only the beginning. So yeah.
I definitely totally agree. So my last question for you all is, what advice would you give to the H2, well, not H2, but class of 26? What would y'all tell for the new people coming in? What's the best way for them to get social? I know Howard and a lot of other HBCUs have like a lot of like roll calls, like for freshmen, like to just get to know each other. So what advice would you give a freshman coming into your institution on how to be social and how to get out there?
First thing I would tell is stay on campus. Do not live off campus your freshman year. You will meet the most people in your dorms or in quick access to the other dorms, because most of them are all relatively close to each other, at least for my campus. There's one park and all the freshman dorms surround the park. And that's where I met my current friend group. And I know I got these people for a long time. So definitely stay on campus. You will meet the most people that way. Get involved in clubs for sure. Even if it's just one, that's small. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and always be open to a conversation with anybody. You have no idea what that person may hold, what knowledge they may bring, or what kind of experience you may get just by even having one conversation with them and how that leads you down the road.
Definitely, to piggyback off of that, definitely stay on campus. If you're more introverted and don't necessarily know how to start a conversation, I know for me, my freshman year, I stayed in a communal dorm. So we had, communal bathrooms, whatever. Make yourself kind of seen, visible. Just go down to the lounge, maybe do work on your lounge. You might see somebody there, or you might overhear a conversation. You can join in like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. And just trying to, work it in that way. If you don't want to outwardly knock on somebody's door, just make yourself seen.
I would say be the best version of yourself. Go into college with an open mind. Not everything may be as the way you may planned it to be, and that's okay. I feel like, in life, we get thrown with so many curveballs. I know for me, I had a traumatic experience this past February, but things get turned around for the better. So definitely go into college with an open mind. Be open to, new experiences. Definitely network your head off, man. Like that's how you're able to like get internships and have people, see who you truly are about. So be, the best version of yourself, network, and hold yourself accountable. Definitely hold yourself accountable and have a good time. Definitely have a good time.
So for me, I would say make sure your work comes first, but also go outside. Don't sit in your rooms. Don't do that. Go to the caf, do something. Just try your best to interact with people. But also, I want to stress this point. Don't think you need a relationship or need to involve yourself with almost every female or male that you see on campus to gain popularity, because that's not the case. Like, I've seen a lot of confession pages about Morgan already, and school hasn't even started. And I feel like it's just sad. But I would just say, try to, once again, be the best version of yourself, like Delaney said, but just do what makes you happy. And if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But keep it to yourself, But yeah.
Thank you, guys. And I definitely agree. And for all like the future Bison watching, there's like a group for everybody. So I really like that about Howard. Like, you can be whoever you want to be. But then for everybody watching, like, if you go to college, nobody knows you. They don't know about the embarrassing time in 10th grade when you tripped down 3 flights of steps. Like nobody knows any of that. So you can go to college and you could be whoever you want to be. So just go. It's like a fresh start. Do it right. Don't get crazy, but be who you want to be, and everything will be great and perfect and wonderful. And then you'll never want to leave college. But I want to say thank you guys so much again for helping us today with this episode, and for everybody who's at home watching. Be sure to check out inreachinc.org for more information related to this topic, upcoming events, and more information about Prince George's County. We'll see you guys next time, and thank you again.